अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
So before we start with the main program, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Indian Oil Corporation for sponsoring the event. So before I move forward to the heart of the program, I would like to enlighten everyone with a brief introduction about the organization. Sanjeevani Life Beyond Cancer is an award-winning non-profit organization and a registered public trust devoted to enriching the lives of cancer patient and raising the bar of cancer care in India. Ruby Aluwalia ma'am, a serving senior bureaucrat, was diagnosed with triple negative third stage breast cancer in the year 2009. The emotional and the physical pain, as well as the financial stress of battling cancer, prompted Ruby ma'am to begin a new chapter in her own life beyond cancer. She set up Sanjeevani Life Beyond Cancer in the year 2012 with the aim to make the journey of cancer for underprivileged cancer patients and their families less strenuous, thus enabling them to complete their treatment and live a productive members of the society thereafter. Sanjeevani currently operates in 12 Indian states, 17 super specialty hospitals, and has a core team of over 30 caregivers, 30 faculty, over 200 interns, and over 100 volunteers. We have till now enriched life of over 250,000 patients since 8 years of inception. So we are currently working on 4 main flagship programs. So the first program that we run is Cancer Yogi. It is providing psychosocial support to cancer patients. The team, mostly cancer survivors themselves, currently help navigate patients through numerous fronts that open up during their journey with cancer and its treatment. Post COVID-19, handholding and counseling made available over calls too. Satori, it is a wellness initiative focused on holistic well-being of the patients. The intervention is designed to improve the physical and mental strength, thus improving their immunity and quality of life, and hopefully reducing the chances of reoccurrence of the disease. And post COVID-19, the program is also offered online. The third program that we run is CanSarthi. It is a skill development program, and this 4-month certificate course in onco caregiving is targeted to train cancer survivors or those who touched with cancer in the family to become trained caregivers. Besides raising the bar of cancer care, this helps in opening up possible opportunities for employment for them. And the last program that we run is Can Chetna. It is an awareness initiative and advocacy with the policymakers and community to generate conversations around cancer. To know more about our organization, please visit our official website page, that is www.sanjeevanilifebeyondcancer.com. And if you come across any cancer patient who need our help, please feel free to contact us at our helpline number, that is 8691 000 800, 8691 000 801. So now moving forward, I would like to request Dr. Gananath Shetty Yakkar, State NSS Officer and ex officio Joint Secretary to Government of Karnataka, to commence the program with a few words. Over to you, Gananath sir.
Sir, you will have to unmute yourself.
ಹೀಗಾಯ್ತು. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನದ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. ಸಂಜೀವಿನಿ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಬಹಳ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮವಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಯೋಜಿಸಿದೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ NSS ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಕಳೆದ 3 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ ಆಶ್ರಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 1,000 ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸುಮಾರು 3 ಲಕ್ಷ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಅರಿವು ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತರಬೇತಿಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದೆ. ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಪರಿಣಾಮಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಯನೋಪಯ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಳಿಸಿದೆ. ಆ ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುಶಃ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಜೀವಿನಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to take the liberty to introduce our esteemed speaker for today. So first, we have today with us Dr. Suresh Babu. Dr. Suresh Babu is a medical oncologist with extensive experience of 16 years in the field of oncology. He has worked and trained at some of the most reputed hospitals in India. He has been working as an associate professor at Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology. In his medical career, Dr. Suresh Babu has worked in various institutes and has over 160 international publications, particularly on different kinds of cancer to his credit. He is currently an executive member of All India Medical and Pediatric Oncology Association. We welcome you, sir, to share your valuable expertise with us. Over to you, Suresh, sir.
Thank you, Sumki. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. So,
Thank you. The thing is that, Sumki, I think it's a World Cancer Day. Very, very important. Basically, that we have to prove that the cancer is still a curable disease. And the second thing is that prevention. Prevention is very, very important. The prevention is basically by lifestyle modifications, like avoiding using tobacco or food habits, daily activity, avoiding exposure to radiation, avoiding exposure to chemicals. So these are some of the very important things. So prevention and a good healthy lifestyle will not only give you prevention against the cancer, it will give prevention to you against many other diseases. See, if you see the cardiac disease, that's something related to heart or gastrointestinal diseases, they are all particularly linked to almost all the same causes, like for example, tobacco usage, improper eating food habits. So prevention and making people aware, even if they are diagnosed with a cancer, you can have a curable disease, and not to perceive cancer as a dreadful disease and it can be cured if detected early. Now there are a lot of methods of treatment. Even if a patient comes to you with a very much advanced cancer disease, you have a lot of treatment option. It was not as it used to be 25-30 years ago. So these are some of the things which we need to tell the patients. Many times what happens if a patient with cancer comes to us, patient will be basically psychologically down, morally. And the other thing is that most of the time patients will refuse to take the treatments. What they say is, now anyway I have diagnosed with cancer and my life is over. I don't want to, do anything more of this. So in this way, we must try to give more importance to them, psychologically motivate them, and tell them that cancer is a curable disease and you can be treated with it. I think this, with this brief introduction, I leave it to you how to go ahead and take the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable expertise with us. So now we would like to welcome our next speaker, that is Dr. R.V. Mamta Devraj ma'am, a doctor in naturopathy and yogic sciences. She is also a social activist and entrepreneur, the trustee of R.V. Devraj Seva Pratisthana, director of the Mamdev Yoga Hub, and the trustee of R.V. Devraj Educational Trust. Her contribution in the field has brought her numerous accolades, such as the 14 Shining India Social Service Awards, Mother Teresa Awards, Aryabhatta International Awards, Sallu Maradha Thimmakka National Greenery Awards, South Asian International Award, and the National Women's Award. We are privileged to have you with us, ma'am. Over to you.
Good afternoon. I'm Mamta Devraj here, a health coach. It was a very nice of you. My introduction was extremely, it's just like a journey where I started as a service oriented. I started my organization, and as today is World's Cancer Day, yes, definitely cancer can be cured for certain extent if it is taken care at the early stages. As our Dr. Suresh Babuji was talking about, last time also when I met him, I personally visited the hospital many times. Yes, prevention is any day better than cure. Yes, yoga and naturopathy has a lot of remedies, and who is already undergoing with and who have come out of cancer, cancer, are also being taken the benefits out of it. Prevention is like lifestyle management, stress management. Yes, is it fine? Can I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
So lifestyle is very important, where it takes a major, changes in our lifestyles. As today we have to, we recommend at naturopathy, we recommend them to connect to the nature. See, as generally we speak about, there's one body we generally think, but in yoga we say we have 5 bodies that are Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. So in every layer, this is called as every body, that is a layer, it's a shield which is not visible to this naked eyes. So we only concentrate on the physical body. Why not we concentrate on the other levels like emotional body, energy bodies? When there is a disturbance in any other parts of our generally the layers or shields so called, it can have an effect on the overall system. We only concentrate on the physical body. So when we work on all those different layers, definitely we can prevent cancer at the early stages. It was very nice talking to you guys. So I practice and I do a lot of counseling and I do a lot of consultations for free in my studio. So you can be connected to me, and definitely we'll all be in touch. And the wonderful service you, as Aluwala is a good friend of mine. Ruby Aluwala is a very good friend of mine. I know, I've met her many times, and she's an inspiration to many who have come out of cancer, and they're just living. I have many friends of mine also who are living a normal life, coming out of it and doing a lot of service. And I really appreciate Ruby ji for doing such a wonderful service. And Sanjeevani is doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And let us be connected in coming days.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. So next we have, the next speaker we have with us is Ms. Suja Warrior, ma'am. She works with Infosys Limited as a leader in CSR and employee volunteering with corporate sustainability, reporting and governance team, along with her role in diversity and inclusion, HRD. She has over 2 decades of experience in corporate function and community interventions. She anchors various CSR initiatives both within and outside the organization and received the Infosys Excellence numerous times for her contribution to the social sector initiatives. Picked up as the 101 most impactful CSR leaders in the global listing by World CSR Congress in the year 2009. She is also a recipient of a social Leadership Award by G Business in the year 2019. With great pleasure, we welcome you, ma'am, to speak a few words. Over to you, Suja, ma'am.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, I think I'm a person who is out of place in this particular forum because all the speakers are doctors and expertise in this field, especially a person like Ruby is in the same panel. And I would like to thank all the members of Sanjeevani for inviting me to this forum. For me, I have to say that I am so privileged and proud to say that I am one person in my family. None of us, nobody in my family had ever been suffered through cancer or died because of this particular disease. And fortunately, maybe we live a very sattvic life and we are vegetarians, born vegetarians, and also we prefer to live a very minimalistic lifestyle. Maybe the lifestyle makes us more comfortable and healthy, and but when it comes to this particular forum and the discussions, my point, maybe I have to talk about how a corporate can help promoting awareness and prevention of this particular disease. Because maybe through my family, maybe I may not have seen the tragedy or the sorrow, but I can say that many people in my friend circle or relatives have gone through this tragedy and sorrow, and we have experienced the pain. And when it comes to an organization, we are very much careful about the health initiatives because a healthy employee is the backbone of any organization's success. And we conduct a lot of sessions, maybe awareness session, not just for cancer, but all kinds of diseases and all kinds of health initiatives. And we also have tie-up with, like any other organizations, most of the industries have tie-up with good hospitals and cash-free treatment, and also for maybe the insurance policies, which will take care of their medical expenses. And but not all the people are so fortunate to have such facilities because our most of our populations come under informal sector, maybe the agriculture sector. But we organizations like Infosys or Wipro or any other IT sector or any other industry, employees are fortunate to have such facilities. And especially in a company like ours, one of the sustainability parameters or pillar of sustainability is the lifestyle sustainability. We literally promote awareness about how a lifestyle can change your living condition, or maybe the living conditions can change the way you the health aspect, because health is one of the most important aspect. And another thing is we also conduct forums. We have forums like HAIL. It's basically the health initiatives and the safety and the leisure, everything will come under one bucket. We conduct a lot of sessions and awareness programs and also regular health checkups. When the campus was opened, we have a kiosk in every building for the regular medical checkup. Any time the doctors and medical facilities are available. And also we have tie-up with hospitals for corporate checkups. And then what I can say that we are smoke-free campuses. We are plastic-free campuses, and we also have all the sustainability initiatives to help employees understand your lifestyle can actually change the way your health the way forward. Because we also, I can say that my personal experience, we conduct some of the sessions called rainwater harvesting. You don't believe we all moved to that kind of a situation where we save each drop of water because the water, air, everything is polluted around us. And and also we have come out with something called Infosys Gardeners Collective, where we handhold each other to have grow your own food, because our sedentary lifestyle is actually making us move towards fast food or maybe the packaged food or the times like we are not very particular about that time where we eat, what we eat and what time we eat. Because of all these things, our health can be affected. And maybe because of all these things, we have come out with some of the initiatives which help employee understand actually the health is the best, maybe the most important wealth you have. And a wealthy organization definitely need healthy and happy employees, and employee well-being is one of the most important aspect of our organization. And with this, I'll stop it here because I am still in the mood of having the conversation with Ruby Ahluwalia yesterday evening. With across the globe, we have screen it. And today in the main page of Infosys, Ruby's picture is there with the video connected to that link. And thank you, Ruby, for coming to Infosys for this particular program yesterday. I'm so grateful to you and your entire team, Sanjeevani, and I promise you that I will be a volunteer in the near future with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Suja ma'am, for your insightful speech. So today, we also have with us Miss S.C. Sarada ma'am, a practicing company secretary at S.C. Sarada and Associates, and a law graduate with 25 years of professional corporate experience. She is an alumnus of HM Bangalore in 2012. She was the first women president of the IIMB Orators Club, a renowned Toastmasters club in Bangalore, and is an advanced communicator and advanced leader by the Toastmasters International USA. She believes in enabling and empowering her young team and takes pride in having groomed several company secretaries as ethical professionals. It is a pleasure to have you with us, ma'am. Over to you, Sharda ma'am.
Yeah, pranams to everyone here. At the outset, I would like to thank Sanjeevani and Ruby and Anil and all the team from Sanjeevani for giving me this opportunity. In my introduction, only my professional profile is mentioned. Friends, the reason I am here is I am a cancer victor. That means I have survived cancer and have thrived cancer. It is 8 years back that I had breast cancer, and I'm living a life which is much better than what was there earlier. With those few thoughts, I would also like to compliment Ruby for choosing this beautiful topic. I remember I participated in the last international symposium that was also on breast cancer, but you had very aptly named it as breast health, which is a very positive connotation to this dreadful disease. Today, again, you're calling it healthy lifestyle for cancer prevention. So I please accept my compliments for a very aptly chosen topic, so that we are no more discussing on why cancer and cancer awareness. We have moved away from that, and we are now looking at how to prevent cancer. Now, what changes have I made? See, I can tell you something, because it's no more prevention for me. It is actually prevention of recurrence, because anybody who has gone through this cancer always has this fear lingering in the mind that will it come back to me again? There are many cases of my friends who have got cancer twice. They have successfully overcome cancer, and all of us are part of some excellent NGO, which is apart from Sanjeevani. I'm also part of some other group which is doing some work with regarding cancer awareness and cancer prevention. So for me, I would like to share my personal experience of what did I do after I got cancer, breast cancer in 2014. So two levels I would discuss this. One is the lifestyle changes. Obviously, when I talk about lifestyle, there is talk about alcohol, there is talk about tobacco, there is talk about environment, pollution. So tobacco and alcohol, definitely I never touched. Environment, we can't do much because we are living there, except where we are great social workers like Mrs. Warrior, who was speaking about how she makes sure that the environment is healthy. While I do my bit through my own gardening, but I would like to share with all of you what are the changes that I have made post cancer on two levels. One at the physical level, the other one on the emotional level. Physical level, the first thing I would like to share is I have started eating right from the last 2 years. In Kannada, there is a proverb which my mother used to say. I'm going to say that in Kannada, and because I see people participating here from across the country, I'm going to translate it into English. But those who know Kannada will appreciate what I'm saying. It goes like this. She would say about eating, ಒಂದ್ ಹೊತ್ತು ಉಣ್ಣೋನು ಯೋಗಿ, ಎರಡ್ ಹೊತ್ತು ಉಣ್ಣೋನು ಭೋಗಿ, ಮೂರ್ ಹೊತ್ತು ಉಣ್ಣೋನು ರೋಗಿ, ನಾಲ್ಕು ಹೊತ್ತು ಉಣ್ಣೋನು ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ. That means if you eat once a day, you are a yogi. If you eat twice a day, then you are a bhogi. If you eat thrice, then you become a rogi. That means you become a diseased person. If you eat 4 times, you need 4 people to carry you. That means you go to the graveyard, and death is going to come fast. So that is the importance, friends, of eating right. And when I say eating right, it is not only eating, eating how many times, it is also what you eat, how much you eat, how you chew, how much time gap you give. And it also follows that along with eating, you must also refrain from eating. So thankfully, I met a very good doctor, a nutritionist, Dr. Gauri Rokkam, who has put me on a program of plant-based food. In the sense, 70 to 80% of what I eat in my day is completely vegetables and fruits, little of cooked food. Also, I have put it into my diet that once in a week I fast, because fasting helps you to heal. So that was briefly about eating and eating right. I have seen a huge difference not only in my weight reduction and my general improvement in immunity, but on many things, both on the emotional level and the physical level. Talking about immunity today, everywhere that's the buzzword. They're saying if it is cancer, it is corona, it is anything else, they say increase your immunity. I don't think immunity can just be increased overnight by just taking some medicines or Chyawanprash or anything else. I truly believe that it is a lifestyle that we must start building in, which is not only the food, but it is also the sleep. The number of hours of sleep that we get, the quality of sleep that we have, the kind of meditation that we do, including the exercise regime that we have, whether it is yoga, whether it is gym, whether it is walking, anything, the body does require exercise. So my changes that I made was in terms of food, in terms of exercise, in terms of yoga. Apart from this, what I would also like to share is cancer is no more a fearful disease. The shift has started happening from fear to hope. The shift has started happening from killing cancer cells to healing the cancer cells. The shift has already started happening. For example, I don't look at cancer as a stigma or as a scar. I look at it as a badge of honor. And today I'm very proud to openly say that, yes, I had cancer in the past. I'm not ashamed, but I'm very proud about it. And I also want to share with others to make sure that they don't go through this. So there is a huge shift which has happened. After cancer in 2014, what did I do? I did not reduce the work which I was doing because I'm a professional. I have a 10-member team. I made sure that the work I get is more. So I can say I have been living a life of abundance. I took on a lot more responsibilities. I traveled a lot. I have enjoyed a lot. If you ask me, my life is much better than what I was living before. So these are all related to lifestyle. One of the speakers earlier, I think Ms. Devraj, she was talking about the 5 sheets or the koshas which we have. Well, I do not have too much of knowledge about that. I've only heard, but I can say that Anandamaya Kosha, I think we need to be happy. At the emotional level, don't look back. Don't regret that you had cancer or you had anything else. Keep looking forward. Develop a positive state of mind. For me, I feel cancer has been a blessing. It's a kind of guru in my life, which has taught me so many things. The life experiences that I carry has enriched my life. For example, when I'm talking of staying happy, many of my friends in the network of cancer survivors that I am, some of them are doing gardening, some of them are walking, some of them are dancing, some of them are trekking. You know, they are doing so many different things. Somebody is into photography because that's what he or she likes. For example, I love to write. And when I write, I want to inspire others or I want to go and speak somewhere. So I do make this extra time if that is what is giving me happiness. So choose whatever you want that makes you feel happy. For example, I also thought in the beginning of last year that I should get more opportunity to be engaged with cancer programs and start giving back. And luckily, I have been called to so many programs, including Ruby's, which just came because there was a decision in my head. So I'm happy about it. I would like to close with a small quote that I read in the morning and I felt it is so relevant. A decision changes nothing. A desire changes nothing. A decision changes something. However, a determination changes everything. So today the theme of Cancer, World Cancer Day 2021 is I am and I will. So let us all take an oath that we shall overcome cancer, we shall overcome this fear and move from fear to hope. Let us live a life of abundance because it is only once that we live. Let us live it to the fullest. Thank you for this opportunity and over to you, Subki.
Thank you, ma'am. So well said. So well said. And thank you for sharing your rich expertise with us. So next, we are honored to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Purnima Jogi S. And she holds a PhD in commerce along with an MPhil and an MBA degree. She is currently the State Implementation Officer at the State NSS Cell. Her expertise in the field has brought her numerous accolades, and she has been invited as convener and guest lecturer at various conferences. During the glorious years of service, she has presented numerous papers at national and international conferences. With great honor, we welcome you, ma'am, to share a few words with us. Over to you, Purnima, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm audible, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
You are.
because I'm outside. Sorry for that. And I would like to congratulate on this World Cancer Day, Sanjeevani, because they are doing a very great job. That by creating the awareness, they have conducted more than 500 webinars. Really, I'm happy about this Sanjeevani organization because there is a saying that prevention is better than cure. That is what is needed in today's world. In creating a healthy India, they are very good. Their plans are very nice. That by practicing healthy lifestyle, we can come back from the cancer, or we can prevent the cancer from that. So I would like to share a few how we can take this from our NSS support. I'll just tell you, ma'am, in few words only that we have NSS in 48 universities and 7 directorates, and we are doing this social services in different forms and different programs also, through different programs. So this is an opportunity where our NSS volunteers should be trained, that they should be given awareness how to combat from the cancer, or how to create a healthy lifestyle. So if you conduct the seminar for the volunteers, then these volunteers will going to conduct the same seminar in their respective classes or colleges. Through them, we can reach the community. It is one of the easiest way, and we have that setup also. Through that, yes, through that we can carry this program, so that we have to reach the community. Community is the main thing. If you teach the healthy practices to the community, means that's enough. Our purpose and motto will be fulfilled. So I request Gananath sir in this platform only. From our side, we will support you, and we will take this opportunity to serve the society, and we are with you in creating healthy India. Thank you so much for the kind opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And we would be happy to do 2 seminars every day per day if you give us the allowance. And thank you so much for sharing your experience. And now moving to the next speaker, we would like to invite Dr. Jonas Research, sir, Professor and Head of Department of Social Work and the Director of Center for Life Skills Education, Krishtu Jayanti College. He has shared his vast experience of 18 years plus in the field of social work through his 15 plus research projects and 78 plus papers that have been published. His areas of interest are social group work with adolescents, development communications, corporate social responsibility, life skills education, and employee engagement practices. He had also authored 2 books. We welcome you, sir, to share your valuable experience with us. We welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are, sir.
Respected Madam Ruby, the other speakers, and Madam Sumki, thank you at the outset for this small opportunity to share some of my views, what a community can do in order to be of strong support the cancer survivors or cancer winners. I congratulate Sanjeevani for the effort, the amount of effort that you have been making in terms of creating right awareness. I was very much touched by the testimonial shared by Madam Ruby, and of course I've also spoken to Anil sir, and the amount of work you do. What I really appreciate and admire in is there are a lot of NGOs that work, but then you bring a lot of professional element into it. You have a professionalism in terms of creating an awareness. I'm happy about it. Friends, just to share my view, I see a role of community in 3 broad angles. First one, preventive, curative, third one, rehabilitative. When we say preventive, it is the community which gives an awareness. For example, program like this, the amount of input that goes into the community, that makes a lot of prevention. As all of us may be knowing it, early detection is always better, and you can save. So the preventive role is very crucial. And when you have a preventive role, there are 3 things what we use. Can I just share the slide? Ma'am, can I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shall I make you the co-host, sir?
Yes, yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yes, done, sir. You can share.
I just have only 2-3 slides. When I say preventive role, there are 3 basic roles that which we talk about in our even in psychological first aid. Look, listen, and link. Okay, so this is important role to be played by any community member, NSS volunteer, anybody can do in the community as far as this prevention is concerned. Now, what do I mean by look? Find out who is in need of it. Maybe you have heard somebody is worried about it, somebody is trying to figure out what they are going through. So look, and once you have looked, please listen. Listen means ability to spend your time. This, see, whatever I am suggesting, anybody can do. You don't need to have a professional training. You don't have to be an expert in terms of knowing everything about your cancer or the treatment process. Okay, so look, listen. Third one, link the person with the right NGO, for example, like a Sanjeevani, or with the right resources that you would be able to do it. So the first thing is, when you want to a preventive role, look, listen, and link. The second one, curative. Since it is a purely depending on the medical field, a certain percentage of the treatment is done medically, but there is also equal amount of role which has to be played by the community members or the family members. Okay, as you give a psychological first aid, you can also give a psychosocial support during the treatment and after the treatment. For example, the stigma. Okay, if the family or the community does not attach any stigma to the person who is undergoing a treatment, the type of treatment, whatever may be the type of cancer, okay, the community plays, because every person, every cancer winner, every cancer survivor develops some sort of stigma. How am I going to face the community? Or people thinking, what is their knowledge base? So friends, right information gives the Right? The right knowledge will remove fear. Many a times we are afraid only because we do not have the right information. Anything we don't understand, we misinterpret in whatever way we want. Like what happened in when we talked about Corona in the beginning, last month, February, March, people tried all sorts of treatment to come out of, they thought, you drink alcohol, too much alcohol, you will not get to Corona. There were some people trying to do that. Some people tried some other thing else. Okay, so the right information, right knowledge base would definitely help in the treatment process. So preventive, curative. The third one, after treatment, how do you support the person when he or she gets back to the community? So these three are very, very important. The whole process, the entire thing, you need to learn to feel to heal it. Okay, learning to feeling to heal, only the right feeling will heal the people. So as a, whether you are a professional social worker or a very simple member in the community, if you know how to feel, so not just a sympathy towards a person, but an empathetic relationship when you develop within your own community, person who may be going through that, I think not only this cancer, anything the person would feel comfortable to come out of it. So since the time is too much, very short, so I would like to summarize what we have talked about it. So there are three roles any community members can play in order to give the right, being of great help. One is a preventive role, curative role, and the rehabilitative role. So preventive role involves three L's are there: look, listen, and link. Okay, look for a person who needs a help. Okay, listen to the person, what exactly he or she wants to say. When I say link, when I say listen, they say no, listen with your eyes. They say listen with your eyes. Okay, how do you listen with your eyes? Give your full attention. Don't just be present to somebody, present with somebody. There's a lot of difference between to and with. Okay, and third one is link the person with the right, and to be full and try to feel what the other person is going through. So once we learn to feel, definitely we will be a great sense in terms of healing. So thank you so much. And I once again appreciate, the organization and, Ma'am Ruby, and I see a lot of other eminent personality. Appreciate the coordination of Madam Sumki. She has been of great support in terms of professional development, because last month I had placed a few of my students in Sanjeevani. They had an excellent experience. So I appreciate and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable experience with us. So in between, I also want to thank Indian Oil Corporation for sponsoring the event today. And now I would like to invite our next speaker, and none other than the founder of the organization. So before that, participants, just keep your questions ready, because you will get a lot of time to ask your questions to the panelists we have today in various fields, because we can see today the speakers are from different sectors. So you can prepare your questions, you can ask your questions directly to the speakers. So now moving forward, I would like to invite Ruby Ahluwalia ma'am. So Ruby ma'am is a senior bureaucrat, an author, an artist, and the founder of the organization Sanjeevani Life Beyond Cancer, and strong finance professional with an MBA in finance from Hyderabad, with a rich experience in project finance and public-private partnership. She joined the civil service in the year 1986 and is currently serving as the principal financial advisor to Central Railways. She has reached out to thousands of souls in selfless act of charity and care to cancer patients. Her various interests and achievements have earned her the Changemaker Award from Grant Thornton Savera and the Exceptional Contribution in Governance Award, meant for bureaucrats for their outstanding work for the society. So ma'am, I would like to welcome you. Over to you, Ruby ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Sumki, for that comprehensive introduction. It was nice to hear all that. I was listening to the conversation since the beginning, and I was wondering that we could not have had actually a better diversity of the panel than we have today. So when Dr. Suresh started, he started the whole conversation at such a good note. Being a doctor, when he spoke about the importance of lifestyle and the importance of positive thinking. After that, Dr. Mamta, who is herself a huge yoga proponent, she supported and she took us to the details of how yoga can help us, live a better lifestyle. Shuja, I know her for the past 3 years. She's a good friend. And apart from what she spoke today about living a very minimalistic, lifestyle, which is, in my opinion, the only way actually today to deal with the various issues that we have, whether personally or socially or environmentally. And she makes so much of an effort continuously. She tirelessly works, to bring, I think, this concept on the table of Infosys, where she works. And Sharda, who you heard, and she herself, I think, is a living example of what a change in lifestyle can lead to. And in detail, she spoke about the changes that she made in her life. And she also spoke about the beautiful life that she is leading today as a result of those changes. I think nobody mentioned, so I should, that Sharda is also the mentor of Sanjeevani Life Beyond Cancer in Bangalore and guides our young team to perform better and more efficiently. Dr. Purnima brought in the perspective of the community and its role, and Dr. Jonas then gave it a very beautiful ending when he said, look, listen, and link. And that is what the role of the community is, whether it is cancer care, it is other health care, or it is any kind of social issue which our society is facing. So such a beautiful conversation. Today, it is World Cancer Day, and that is how we thought we should all get together and make a meaningful conversation. As we are all aware that around 17 lakh people are diagnosed every year with cancer. I'm sure the way we maintain data, I'm sure the way the economic levels of our people is double, this number could be going unreported. So we are talking about a World Cancer Day today, but where we are, probably a lot of us have to treat it as a cancer day every day if we want to come around this problem. And WHO in its latest report says that out of every 10 Indians, 1 Indian will be diagnosed with cancer. Looks like it is almost becoming a pandemic. And that is the kind of importance and that is the kind of work it needs. The good story is that 1/3 of these cancers can be avoided by a change in the lifestyle. And another good story is that 1/3 of the rest can be dealt with very easily, very efficiently if they are diagnosed early. And that is where we need to kind of work on. So with this kind of a huge problem, when I went through treatment of cancer myself, and I understood that still in India, cancer care is understood to be medical care, which is not right, because a disease like cancer opens so many fronts in front of a cancer patient that unless and until all those fronts are attended to and they are closed, even the outcomes of the best medical treatment cannot be positive. So there is a huge gap which is there in cancer care in our country. It was in this context that Sanjeevani Life Beyond Cancer was founded in 2012. And it is the first comprehensive cancer care organization in the country. Although now when I see youngsters like Sumki, and there are so many more, but since Bangalore knows Sumki so much better, I feel that this is kind of becoming a movement which makes you feel that your health is in your hands. You know, there's a different kind of power which you feel when you know that it is in your hands. If always you know that you need to run around there, you need to have this much of money for this, you need to have so much of insurance, there is a feeling of being victimized, actually. And Sanjeevani's effort is to empower the common man and empower the cancer patients. And that is what we are working towards. You are all aware that Sanjeevani runs 5 major programs, which is the hand-holding and counseling program in the hospital, the immunity strengthening program, a training program to train cancer survivors to become cancer caregivers, an awareness initiative, and Can Ahar, where we give a nutritious meal box to the patients, because a lot of underprivileged cancer patients are not able to start their treatment because their parameters are not right. So their parameters need to be brought at a particular level for their treatment to start. So Sanjeevani is making that effort and giving them a nutritious meal box, which is enough for them for a period of 5 days. And the outcomes of this program are amazing. Today, when all of you have taken out time to be here, I can see 374 people right now. I want to make a sincere appeal, to each one of you, that adopt a healthy lifestyle yourself. Adopt a healthy lifestyle. Start focusing on the food you eat, the time at which you eat it, the combination in which you eat it, and the feelings with which you eat it. Sharda has spoken in an elaborate manner when she was talking about it. The second is your breath. Oxygen is the biggest alkalizer, and it is free. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to get into any queue to get this alkalizer in your body. Breathe properly, breathe deeply, breathe with awareness. And the third thing is your mental constructs. Think positively. Do learn to respond and not to react. Because when we react, we use up so much of energy of our body that at that particular time when our body is reacting and immediately gets into an emergency situation, no growth hormones are being released, which make our body healthy. But what is getting released in the body is the toxins on which the cancer cells thrive, on which every other disease thrives. Actually, why only cancer? Whether it is diabetes, whether it is high BP, whether it is arthritis, every disease thrives on the toxicity of our body. So please take care of your food, Be aware of your breath and be aware of your thoughts. Every time, I think, Shuja, I spoke about this yesterday as well. Every time you put something in your food, when you breathe in and with every thought, just spend a moment to think, by all these three things, are you blessing yourself or are you abusing yourself? And you will notice, once we become aware, the most of the food we eat, the way we eat it, we end up abusing ourselves. The way we breathe, the breath just comes in and we throw it out. You know, we are abusing ourselves. It's such a potent lifesaver. And every thought, every anxiety which is there, every anger which is there, the shame, the guilt, the sadness with which we are living our lives today, we are abusing ourselves. We are abusing our being with it. So when we abuse our being, as Mamta was talking about, the whole body, the synchronization only goes away. And when the synchronization goes away, then there is dis-ease. The body is not at ease. And we get into some problem or the other. So let us decide to live a healthy lifestyle. Let us also decide to tell others about this healthy lifestyle. Please also take out this story that cancer is curable. You know, there are a lot of people who do not report to the hospital thinking that this is a death sentence. No, Sharda is here, I'm here. I'm sure you must have met a lot of people if you've been attending Sanjeevani's program. Cancer is curable today. And the third is that the cancer is not contagious. Cancer is not contagious. Please, if you take out these three stories, talk about them, share about them, then this 1 hour which we have spent together has become meaningful. And also, if you know any patient who is going through the journey of cancer, please connect him or her to us. We would be very, very delighted to completely hold their hand and see them through that experience. I'm really looking forward to keeping in touch with each one of you, and thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. And it was such a pleasure to listen to all. So now moving quickly, we will have a short question answer session. A lot of people have some questions and from our participants. So we will try to take up as many questions as possible, but due to the lack of time, we will only be able to take up the most common questions. So before that, I would like to again extend our heartfelt thanks to Indian Oil Corporation for sponsoring this event. So now the first participant who has her question is Sangeeta Das. Sangeeta, I would like to invite you to please ask your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a question to Dr. Suresh Babu. And my question is, from your experience, sir, what do you think are the common mistakes made by the people which have delayed their diagnosis and eventually treatment? And what do you want to suggest to the participants so that we are able to prevent cancer in the first place?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the commonest mistake is they don't seek medical advice because of the fear, and the acceptance. See, for example, is that everybody wants to listen to the thing that they don't want it to be a cancer. That is the majorly the social stigma. So most of the time, what happens is that if some breast lump or anything is there, they don't want to seek the medical advice, thinking that doctor will tell it as a cancer. If they tell as a cancer, what will I tell to the society around? This is the most thing. Other than that, I think don't see any major reason. Other thing is that the lack of education and accessibility to healthcare. These are the other reasons. But most of the time, what happens is that even though they are aware there is a lump or anything, especially rural women, especially women cancer, this is more common. They don't seek medical advice very early. That may be the reason. That's why we must create an environment that if you see a doctor or a medical advice as early as possible, then the cancer is curable. That is the main hurdle in diagnosing cancer. When I see in Kidwai, most of the patients come after 5 or 6 months. They basically say that we didn't have facility, or I was not aware, or nobody in the family supported me. And somebody will say, I hide it from my family, I don't want to reveal. This is the main reason. How to overcome it is basically because of the many reasons. It has to happen over the years. It will not happen over the days. I have told it in many functions wherever I attended also. One of the things is that in the movies or TVs or wherever it is, cancer disease can use. That stuff, approach to the cancer must go. So public must try to accept that we have to, project cancer in a very good light, that we must make people aware that cancer is a curable disease. And if you seek very early, the disease can be cured. With that education only, we can bring them. The major people or major, people who can do this is the people who are cured of cancer. When you see a person who is cured of cancer, it will definitely give you hopes. So that's where the people like Sanjeevani are coming into, where patients are made to speak to or interact with the people who are cured of cancer. So that will give a very big, strong boost to anybody to say, oh, this person is cured, why can't I be the next person who is going to be cured? So this is very, very important. So this we have to project in the society everywhere, movie, or whenever we come across any forum, we must project it that cancer is just a disease and it has many treatments in it. And if you seek and treat properly, it can be cured.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. And also, sir, there is a question by Sumitra Dhal Samanta. She is telling that please highlight the role of plastic and pesticide in food for causing cancer care. So, sir, would you love to take this question, please? Sir, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay. The plastic and the pesticide, for that matter, any chemicals do have some role in the cancer, especially pesticides. Pesticides basically are known to cause especially leukemias and lymphomas. There is some connection of leukemias and lymphomas with as far as the pesticide is concerned. Many of the times what happens, patients with leukemia come with the background of working in agricultural fields. So pesticides do have a no relation with the cancer, but whatever pesticide or whatever chemical is concerned, we must follow the universal precaution how to avoid them to get exposed to the body. That precaution we have to maintain. Pesticide, if exposure happens only 1 day or 1 minute, it will not happen. Usually it will be a continuous process. So the agriculture sector, they will be educated by the local agricultural officer or those things to take necessary precautions. But sometimes farmers being lack of education and all, they may see it as not so seriously. So I think the pesticides and plastics do have relation with cancer, especially the pesticides do have some relation with leukemias and lymphomas, which are preventable if you take proper precaution when you use pesticides.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for taking this question. So next participant we have is Libin. Libin, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Okay, my question is for Dr. Richard.
Yes, please.
So what can be the role of social workers as well as social work students to inform people about government schemes and policies about cancer?
Very good. Excellent. Very good. I'm happy that at least there are social work students and then Nice question, Libin.
Sir.
Libin, I see there are two roles. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I see here two roles. Number one is the information. Okay, education, what we call it as psychoeducation and mental health. Okay, number one is to give the right information. Second one is, as I said, linking them to the right resources. Okay, right resources. Third one, capacity building within the community, because whatever maybe, as Madam Ruby said, whatever may be the type of treatment you give, unless the person feels accepted and wanted, nobody wants to, be there. So friends, as you know that the greatest feeling every human being wants to have is being accepted, anywhere it is. However rich we are, however well placed we are in the society, if a person does not feel accepted with the his own immediate community, there is no point in living. How many people pray that, no, I should have gone with the cancer? Why did I come back? Oh no, why God is still keeping me? Some of the old, senior citizens, they say. So maybe probably they have seen it. So living, so to be very precise, number one, to give them the right information. Second, to connect them with the right resources. Third one, capacity building within the community, empower the community. So social workers have got a great role to play in terms of empowering the community, so that people accept and being wanted in the community, because psychological security is the biggest security in the world. Psychological security is the biggest security in the world. So I think that can be given by any community member. Right.
Thank
Hope
you.
I have answered, Libin.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for taking this question. Next participant, we have Josephina. Josephina has one question. She has sent me a private chat. Josephina, please ask your question. Yes, you can unmute yourself. Josephina, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. My question goes to Suja Barrier, ma'am. Ma'am, should cooperative companies make regular screening mandatory for employees in order to help detect cancer early, thus ensuring better chance of recovery?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear.
Yeah. The thing is, organizations, maybe the corporates, not only do it for cancer, but for all the diseases. They have regular health checkups, and the doctors connected to the corporates understand various issues, and also preventive care, mostly preventive care. And if at all something happens, like definitely they will provide with enough support, maybe a leave, a sabbatical policies, and also help them with awareness programs and hand-holding them with enough support. Other than that, not just cancer, I'm telling you all the diseases. Is it that's what you're expecting from me, or anything else you want?
Yes, ma'am, yes. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking this question. So next we have Edriza with us. Edriza, you can ask your question.
Good afternoon to all of you. My question is with Sharda, ma'am. Ma'am, you shared with us that you are a cancer victor. Ma'am, I would like to ask you about life after cancer in terms of dealing with people around you, especially negative comments.
Yeah, like I already mentioned during my talk, see, maybe I am very fortunate, let me tell you, living in a place like Bangalore, where the general awareness is quite a lot. And I also belong to an educated class. So that's why I said I am blessed in many ways. When we belong to a certain class, it's easy because people around you do not look at you and stigmatize you. So I was accepted the way I was, first starting with my own family, my husband and my children. And I also got suggestions from my friends. Many of them wrote back to me saying, do not entertain too many guests at this time. It's okay if you say people don't come and visit me when I am undergoing some chemo treatment, just make a phone call. So I do understand that in certain families, this is all possible and people are very broad-minded. So I did not have any kind of negative feeling. So I have never actually people looking at me and saying, did you lose your hair? What happened? Sympathizing. Very little of that I actually experienced. But I do know when I go to the hospitals or I do meet other people, this negative feeling is very much there. That is why I think both as patients, we have to give back to the society, trying to clear this stigma, also as caregivers and as social workers to make sure that there is no stigma. This is not a contagious disease. Anybody can get this, and not to have any negativity around that. That makes a huge difference, because you should not feel low on self-esteem as a patient. You must feel positive, you must feel confident, and you must realize that you want to come back with all the confidence. I hope I've answered your question. It all starts here, dear. Starts with your mind here.
Yeah, that is so true. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we will take last two questions. So the next participant we have with us is Mala. Mala, please unmute yourself and please ask your question.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are.
Good evening, everyone. My question is for Mamta, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to know if it is possible to survive cancer without going to treatment. I mean, with the help of naturopathy, yoga, and Ayurveda. So, is it possible?
Yes, 100% it is possible when the lifestyle has been taken care in every level of your body. Like as I was talking about the 5 layers of your body, in every level of your, the layers you take care, and you have a mental disturbance, you can be taken care of. Your manomaya kosha, where you have to be practicing meditation things, and when your prana, you start working on your pranayama, on the energy body works on it. So at every different level it works. So definitely I can say there is a cure, and many people have approached me and I have suggested them to withdraw the plastic from their lifestyle. We usually, wherever we go, we use this Bisleri bottles where we keep in the cars, and we drink that water again repeatedly, keeping the same bottle. All this can definitely harm, and I've seen many people coming out of it, and regularly we don't use. Let us universally withdraw the plastic, and why don't we all go towards the organic food more? And definitely when you practice yoga, it helps your mental, physical, and spiritual levels. You can see the growth, and equally we can be healed. What I could say, my personal experience, I've worked on many people, and on their lifestyle changes and stress levels. Definitely it works. I think I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Mamta ma'am, for taking the question. Next and the last question is by Elbin. So Elbin, please unmute yourself, and her question is to Ruby ma'am. So Elbin, please directly unmute yourself and ask this directly to ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. So my question is like, does the pain in the breast before periods is a sign of breast cancer, ma'am?
Actually, most of the times, although Dr. Suresh is here and probably can answer this question better, but most of the time, and in fact 99.9% of the times, the pain in the breast is because of the hormonal changes which come in the body of a woman before her periods. So there is nothing to worry about that pain, and most of the time this pain goes away when the periods happen. However, having said that, if the pain persists and there is some other symptom as well in the breast, whether it is in terms of some kind of release for a wound or some change in the size of the breast or the position of the nipple. If there is any other symptom as well, it is good to go and see a doctor and get yourself investigated. But let me tell you, 99.9% of the times there is nothing to worry. So although there is a lot of work which has to happen on the cancer awareness, but the idea is not to scare people or not to tell them that every change in the body is leading to a problem like this. But yes, every change in the body, if it remains for a long time, should be reported, should be investigated, and so that you are also mentally free and the body is good.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. And this was also somewhere my question as well. So because I also wanted to know, so this is indeed a like common question. So thank you so much to all the panelists for joining the event today. So as every good things come to the end, so we have also come to the end of this program. So before ending the program, I would like to invite our program intern Ullas to please propose a vote on behalf of the organization.
Very good evening to all. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on the occasion of this World Cancer Day. On behalf of Sanjeevani Life Behind Cancer, I extend very gratitude to all the speakers for gracing your crucial work and sharing all your valuable knowledge with us, and all the participants and the entire Sanjeevani family making this program a grand success. Thank you once again. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, everyone. So thank you. Special thanks to all the panelists who have joined us. And with just one request, nobody said a no. So thank you so much from our core of our heart, actually. So we will also be in touch in near future. So there is a feedback link provided in the chat box. Please fill up the feedback link for the e-certificates. We will keep this link open for another 2 minutes for everyone to fill up the link. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. So everyone, please fill up the feedback link. And also once again, towards the end, I just want to say, please stay healthy, stay positive, and take care of yourself. Once again, thanks to Indian Oil Corporation for sponsoring this event. So this feedback link is given in the chat box. Kindly fill up the feedback link to avail the e-certificates.